Welcome back everyone to a video, and today we're doing our week 2 picks for the NFL season. Now just a brief recap of my picks from last week. We went 8-8, which I could definitely do better. I'm not really happy about that, but I'm not really mad either because I took a lot of upsets, like the Washington one didn't pan out, Carolina one didn't really pan out, same with the Packers, same with the Ravens, so kind of took some shots there, just didn't really happen. I'll probably go less upsets for this week, but still, we did have some nice, games. I guess we got correct, like that Dolphins game and the Texans game. That's a pretty tough one. I went back and forth on Texans and Colts for a while. For the Bills, that was a much closer game than I think a lot of people might have thought. But still, not a bad week. So let's go over to now week 2. So for week 2, we have a lot of really good games this week. The Thursday night game being the Bills and the Dolphins. Now, just to preface this entire video, I want to say that I'm going to go through every single game, and then at the end, I will have a different graphic where I have all my winners, so it'll be much easier to read. So just in case I get down to like the 49ers game and you forget who I chose for like the Rams and Cardinals game, at the end, I'll have it all outlined very, very clearly. So getting right into it though, Bills and Dolphins for Thursday Night Football. They're in Miami. I think this will be a very, very close game. I just saw something today that said that like the Bills have not lost by a margin larger than 6 points, I think, in like 42 games or something. Like, it's been a long time. Josh Allen has that offense competing. This is always a very tough divisional matchup. Now, it's in Miami, but I believe the Dolphins are now down. Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane is a game-time decision. So, kind of tough to pick because Achane is a massive guy in that offense. So, it's, kind of difficult to know what that's going to look like. I'm going to go with the Bills on an upset here, though. I think they can go into Miami and win it on Thursday Night Football. Even if Achane does play, he might not have his normal workload because of that, I think, ankle injury he's dealing with. Whereas the Bills offense, I think, still looked very, very good last week. To be fair, it was the Cardinals defense, which is a very, very bad defense. So this will be a bit more of a test, but I still think the Bills can actually start out 2-0. Dolphins were a bit flat in the first half last week against the Jaguars. If they come out flat again, it might be a bit tougher to get back into this game, but I think it will be close. I got the Bills there, though. Next is the Chargers and the Panthers. In the Panthers, I'm picking the Chargers. Panthers had a pathetic display last Sunday in a game where I was confident in my team. I picked them. Not making that mistake again. Definitely Chargers. I think they can march right into Charlotte and run the ball all over this team. Derek Brown, who is a very good player, not just by Carolina standards, a league-wide great defensive tackle, is now out for the season. So that run should be wide open. Unless the Panthers have some kind of like unreal bounce back and the Chargers struggle, I don't think this will be very close. I'm picking the Chargers there. Rams and Cardinals, I'm picking the Rams because of that Cardinals defense. Last week, Puka Nacua goes down. He's now on IR, which really, really sucks. But Stafford's playing some great football right now, and that Cardinals defense, I think, is going to have a very hard time trying to stop Cooper Kupp. You have Demarcus Robinson now kind of stepping up. You'll have maybe even the rookie Jordan Whittington stepping up at receiver, and then you still have Kyren Williams there at running back too. So Rams offense, I think, will be the story of this game because I don't think they will be stopped very easily by that Cardinals offense. I think the Cardinals offense can get something going against the Rams defense, but I don't think. I think down the stretch, the stops will line up for the Rams, and the Cardinals just not be able to slow down the Rams. So, got the Rams in that one. Next is Cincinnati and Kansas City. I'm picking Kansas City. The Bengals came out really, really flat last week and cannot get anything going. I know there's a lot of speculation over Joe Burrow's wrists and how healthy he is and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully he's healthy, but I'm picking the Chiefs in this one. I would be very surprised if the Bengals win on the road with no T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have already missed a lot of practice. So the chemistry looked a bit out of sync last week. And also that defense. Bengals defense was horrendous. It was really, really bad. I got the Chiefs in that one. And then next is the Raiders and the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens here at home. Ravens played a very close one against Kansas City, and I don't think the Raiders are a very good. I don't think the Ravens are a very good matchup for the Raiders. I'm not sure how close this one will actually be. I'm picking the Ravens there in Baltimore. And speaking of games that probably won't be very close, Saints and the Cowboys. Yes, the Saints looked excellent last week. They did look good on their own, but I think a product of that was also Carolina's just, joke of a defense and offense last week. I think the Cowboys played exceptionally well against a very good Browns defense, and if they can do that again, I think they'll win by a very big margin there against the Saints in Dallas. Next is the Lions and the Buccaneers. I'm going to pick the Lions in this one. This is a rematch of the divisional round from last season's playoffs. I think this will be a pretty good game. I think the Lions played great last week, but so did the Buccaneers. I think both these teams are very, very solid. But there in Detroit, I think the Lions are just the better team. I think Aiden Hutchinson can try and get to Mayfield. That could be a huge part of this game, is making Mayfield feel uncomfortable and make bad throws. The Lions defense looked quite good last week, in my opinion. And then the offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't even involved last week. I think you get him involved this week. See, Jameson Williams can still be a big spark for you, and I think the Lions offense will be rolling against the Buccaneers defense. So picking the Lions there. Next to the Colts and the Packers, I'm picking the Colts. No Jordan Love. Sounds like Malik Willis is starting. He hasn't even been there that long, and when he's been in games, even in Tennessee, he didn't look very good. So that my confidence in the Packers offense is very, very low for this week. Richardson looked pretty good last week. He had like 200 yards on 9 completions, which is unreal. So I'm picking the Colts there to win in Green Bay. Next is the Browns and the Jaguars. I'm picking the Jaguars. I said that at the beginning of the year. I said it 2 months ago, 3 months ago. If Deshaun Watson is not ready to play, this team is not going to achieve what they should be achieving. And I think last week, yeah, it was a tough matchup, but Watson did nothing. He did not do a good job at reading the field and finding the open guy and extending plays and, making something happen. Sure, he extended plays, but he ended up getting sacked or just throwing the ball away on 4th down. It was a very, very bad display. The Browns defense can absolutely slow down the Jaguars offense, but I'm just not a believer in the Browns offense right now with Watson in there. So I have the Jaguars in that one. Next, the 49ers and the Vikings. I'm picking the 49ers. They looked very, very good in Monday Night Football against the Jets. Vikings looked great too, but that was against the Giants, so I think it's a little bit of both. Vikings being good and Giants just being that bad. 49ers, I think, go into Minnesota there and handle business. After that is the Seahawks and the Patriots. I'm picking the Seahawks. I think the Patriots had a great game last week against the Bengals, but for me to take them a bit more seriously week in and week out, I got to see them do it more than just one time. And I think the Seahawks are a great team. I don't think this is a team to scoff at. They can definitely win on the road there in New England. So I'm picking the Seahawks. I'd love to see Jackson Smith and Jigba get involved early on in year 2. We'll see how that goes at least. I think Kenneth Walker might be a little bit banged up, so that could be a big story. But again, Patriots, if they're going to have a fight in this one, just like last week, you got to get Ramondre Stevenson involved. And defensively shut down DK Metcalf. Christian Gonzalez will be on him, I'd assume. So it could be a close game, but regardless, I have the Seahawks coming on top in that one. Next is the Jets and the Titans. I'm picking the Jets. Titans, they're up 17-0 and blew it to the Bears, who didn't even score an offensive touchdown. That's just really, really bad. Jets at times did look really good. And I think a lot of their issues against the 49ers really came from them just not having a lot of actual real game reps with each other. And I think as the year goes on, I think they'll get better. I think the Titans are a very good matchup for them to actually kind of see if they can get things smoothed out or start smoothing things out and, kind of just get into momentum going into the season as the weeks go on at least. So I have the Jets winning that one in Tennessee. And then next is the Giants and Washington. I'm picking Washington in this. I do think this will be a close game. I think both teams are not great, but I think Washington is just the better team. Daniel Jones, once again, looked very, very bad for the Giants. Malik Neighbors did look good whenever he actually got the ball. But the Giants, it's not going to be a good year for them. I think that's just kind of a known at this point. Washington, they have an exciting ceiling. They couldn't really get the pass game going last week, so we'll see if they can turn it up a bit more this week. But Jaden Daniels is still a huge threat with his legs, so we'll see how that goes. I have Washington in that game. Next is the Steelers and the Broncos. I'm picking the Steelers. Bo Nix looked very rattled in Seattle last week, which, to be fair, veterans are rattled playing in Seattle against that defense. A lot of the time. So it's not really a shocker there, but because they're playing the Steelers defense kept them in the game last week against the Falcons. Their offense couldn't produce much, but they got stop after stop after stop. I think they can do the same thing this week. Get to Bo Nix, make him rattle, make him make bad throws, and I think that's the key to success in that game. So I'm picking the Steelers in that one. Next is Sunday Night Football, Bears versus Texans. I'm picking the Texans in that one. I think the Bears looked fine. I think they got in a hole early and dug out of it with not having a ton of offensive production. I think it's still early on to see what Caleb Williams will look like in year 1. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think this is a bit of a tall task this early in the season at least. Houston looked great last week. I don't see why they wouldn't be even better this week. Not even better, but I don't see why they'd be worse this week. Bears defense can definitely slow them down though. So if the Bears could slow Houston down and get some momentum on offense, they could actually win that game. But overall, I think Houston's a better team. I think they'll handle business. I got Houston in that one. And then finally is the Falcons and the Eagles on Monday Night Football. I'm picking the Eagles. I think the Falcons offense looked much flatter than I realized, or at least than I thought they would last Sunday. Not to say things couldn't get better, but I think this is a pretty tough matchup after having a pretty tough matchup last week. Eagles looked good in their Friday night game in Brazil. I think they'll look good this week as well. Saquon Barkley come off a hat trick. Jalen Hurts didn't play great, but he got better as the game went on. I think this is a big bounce back for the Eagles, even though they won. It wasn't a pretty win at times, so I think this one, back at home now against a pretty, I would say somewhat even opponent, but it's a very winnable game. I think they'll take advantage. I think they win this game. I have the Eagles in that one. So let me know down below what games you agree or disagree with. We are currently 8-8, so it's still a blank slate basically going into week 2. I think we can definitely do better than last week. I try to take a little bit of less upsets this week. But again, let me know down below what you guys think, what your favorite team has done in week 1, what you think they'll do in week 2, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe. It is free. I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.